Picture this, a sea so hostile that sandstorms blow directly across its surface. So salty, it's nearly impossible to sink in. Yet beneath its waves lies one of the most spectacular underwater worlds on Earth. A sea that, according to scripture, swallowed an entire army. A sea that birthed new islands overnight from volcanic fire. And a sea that, to this day, people travel across continents just to bury themselves in. This is the Red Sea. And what you're about to learn might completely change how you see this stretch of water. Welcome to Relentium Mind. If you're new here, we explore the hidden stories behind the world's most fascinating places. So make sure you're subscribed, because today's deep dive is one you won't want to miss. Let's start with the basics, because most people couldn't point to the Red Sea on a map if their life depended on it. The Red Sea is technically an inlet of the Indian Ocean, sitting in one of the most geopolitically significant corridors on the planet. It acts as a natural border between two continents, Africa to the west and Asia to the east. 8 countries share its coastline: Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti. That's 8 different cultures, governments, and economies, all relying on the same body of water. Now, let's talk scale. The Red Sea stretches approximately 1,400 miles long. That's roughly the distance from New York City to Dallas, Texas. Its width varies, but averages around 220 miles at its broadest points. But here's what's really wild: its depth. On average, the Red Sea is about 1,600 feet deep. That's deeper than the Empire State Building is tall, completely submerged underwater. But at its deepest trench, it plunges to nearly 10,000 feet, deep enough to swallow most American skyscrapers with room to spare. In total, the seabed covers approximately 169,000 square miles. To put that in perspective, that's larger than the entire state of California. And here's a fact most people don't know. For roughly 4,500 years, the Red Sea has served as a major trade corridor. Ancient Egyptian merchants were sailing these waters millennia before modern shipping lanes existed. Today, that legacy continues. Approximately 10% of all global maritime trade flows through this single body of water. Think about that. 1 in every 10 cargo ships, oil tankers, or container vessels on Earth's oceans passes through the Red Sea at some point, including a massive chunk of the goods that eventually end up on store shelves right here in the United States. Now here's the question everyone asks. Why is it called the Red Sea when most photos show crystal clear turquoise water, the kind you'd see on a postcard from Cancun? There are actually multiple competing theories, and scientists still don't agree on a single definitive answer. Theory 1, the bacteria. Living within the Red Sea is a unique type of cyanobacteria. These microscopic organisms absorb nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, and through this process produce a compound called trichodimesium erythrium. This compound has a distinctly reddish hue. When this bacteria experiences a population bloom, essentially exploding in numbers under the right conditions, it can tint large patches of the water a reddish-brown color. If you happen to sail through during one of these blooms thousands of years ago, you might genuinely believe you were sailing through blood-red waters. Theory 2. Volcanic activity. The Red Sea sits along a major tectonic boundary. It's actually part of the Great Rift Valley system, one of the most geologically active regions on Earth. Continuous volcanic eruptions over millennia have, according to many geologists, contributed reddish minerals and sediments to the water in certain areas. Here's the important caveat though. This red coloration isn't a constant sea-wide phenomenon. It appears in patches, under specific conditions, in specific locations. Most of the time, the Red Sea looks just as blue and clear as any other tropical sea. So why did the name stick globally, even though the red color is the exception rather than the rule? Historians believe ancient sailors who witnessed these dramatic blooms passed down the name through trade routes and oral history. and it simply became the permanent identifier on maps, even centuries after most people stopped seeing the red water firsthand.
If you've ever wondered what it's like standing on the shores of the Red Sea, here's the reality. It's brutal. This entire region is enveloped by desert. We're talking the Sahara to the west, the Arabian Desert to the east. And deserts don't just affect the land, they fundamentally transform the sea itself. Because of the intense heat and surrounding arid landscape, evaporation rates here are extraordinarily high. Water molecules are constantly escaping into the atmosphere, but the salt and minerals stay behind, concentrated in what remains. This is why the Red Sea has a salinity level between 3.6% and 4.1%. For comparison, most of the world's oceans, including the waters off the coast of California or Florida, average around 3.5%. That might not sound like a massive difference, but in oceanographic terms, it makes the Red Sea one of the saltiest large bodies of water on the planet. This higher salt concentration actually has a fascinating side effect. It increases the water's density, which means objects and people float more easily here than in standard seawater. Think of it like a natural version of the Dead Sea, just less extreme. But it's not just the heat that makes this region harsh. When sandstorms form in the surrounding deserts, which happens frequently, scorching desert sand gets carried directly over the sea's surface. Combine that with the already intense ambient heat, and you get a climate that's hot, dry, and unforgiving for almost the entire year.
Now, here's the part that surprises almost everyone. Given how harsh the surface conditions are, you'd expect the Red Sea to be relatively lifeless. You'd be completely wrong. Beneath those scorching, salty waters lies one of the most biodiverse marine ecosystems on the entire planet. Let's break down exactly what's living down there. Fish populations. The Red Sea is home to approximately 1,200 distinct species of fish, but here's the part that blows my mind. 120 of those species exist absolutely nowhere else on Earth. They are completely endemic to this one body of water. If the Red Sea's ecosystem were ever destroyed, these species would simply vanish from existence permanently. Invertebrates. On top of the fish, scientists have documented over 1,000 species of invertebrates living throughout the reef systems, everything from sea cucumbers to mollusks to crustaceans.
Coral reefs. And then there's the coral. The Red Sea contains roughly 200 species of both soft and hard coral, forming sprawling reef systems that stretch for hundreds of miles along the coastline. These reefs aren't just beautiful, they're some of the most resilient coral ecosystems on Earth, partly because Red Sea corals have adapted to survive in unusually warm water temperatures, which scientists are actually studying right now as a potential model for coral survival amid global ocean warming, something that's becoming a hot topic for reef systems off the coast of Florida, too. Sharks. Patrolling these reef systems, you'll find multiple species of sharks, drawn here by the abundance of fish and the relatively warm, stable water temperatures. But it's not just fish and coral. The Red Sea is also home to dolphins. Specifically, 8 distinct species of dolphin inhabit these waters. You'll also find dugongs, which are gentle, manatee-like marine mammals. Think of them as cousins to the manatees you'd find in Florida, along with multiple species of sea turtles gliding through the reefs. And now for the fact that genuinely shocks people. The Red Sea is home to the sailfish, widely recognized as the fastest fish in the entire ocean. This fish can reach speeds of up to 68 miles per hour. Let that sink in for a second. That's faster than most highway speed limits in the United States. A fish moving through water, which is roughly 800 times denser than air, can outrun a car on a freeway. The sailfish achieves this through an incredibly streamlined body shape and a sail-like dorsal fin that it folds down to reduce drag while bursting through the water at top speed. Remember how the Red Sea sits on a major tectonic boundary? That geological activity didn't stop in the ancient past. It's ongoing. Scattered throughout the Red Sea are numerous dormant volcanoes. Dormant doesn't mean dead, though. These volcanoes periodically become active again, triggering eruptions that, over thousands of years, have literally created new land. Entire volcanic islands have formed this way. And as a result, the Red Sea is scattered with thousands of these volcanic islands. Now, combine that geological chaos with the natural hazards we've already covered: dense coral reefs and shallow channels, unpredictable currents, and sandstorms, and you get one of the most navigationally treacherous seas on the planet. In the southern Red Sea especially, shipping channels are riddled with coral formations close to the surface. Ships attempting to pass through frequently run aground or become stuck entirely. Add violent, unpredictable water currents into the mix, and even experienced captains approach this region with caution. It's no surprise then that the Red Sea has become something of a graveyard for ships. Countless vessels throughout history have met their end here, and their wrecks now rest scattered across the seafloor. The most famous of these is the SS Thistlegorm, a British armed transport vessel from World War II. In 1941, it sank near Ras Mohammed, a port city in Egypt. For decades, it sat largely forgotten on the seafloor. Today, the SS Thistlegorm is one of the most famous scuba diving sites on Earth, right up there with the wreck dives off the Florida Keys or North Carolina's graveyard of the Atlantic. Divers travel from around the world to explore its corridors, which still contain remnants of wartime cargo, including motorcycles, trucks, and ammunition frozen in time at the bottom of the sea.
Here's something most Americans have never heard of, and it sounds almost unbelievable. Along certain stretches of the Red Sea coastline, particularly near Jeddah Corniche in Saudi Arabia, you'll find beaches with a unique composition: black sand infused with trace minerals. For generations, local populations have believed this sand has therapeutic properties. Specifically, it's used as a traditional treatment for arthritis and skin inflammation, similar in spirit to how people in the US travel to natural hot springs or mineral spas for relief. Here's how it works. During the early morning or evening, when temperatures are more bearable, people lie down on the beach and have their entire body, except for the head, buried in this mineral-rich sand. They remain like this for a period of time, allowing the warmth and minerals to, according to traditional belief, ease joint pain and reduce inflammation. Research into the actual physiological effects of this practice is ongoing, but the tradition itself has persisted for generations, and today it's become something of a wellness tourism attraction, with people specifically traveling to experience this sand therapy firsthand.
We've covered the biology, the geology, and the culture. Now let's talk about why the Red Sea matters on a global economic scale, and why it's something every American should actually care about. Beneath the seabed lie substantial reserves of oil and natural gas. Several of the nations bordering the Red Sea actively extract these resources to fuel their industrial and commercial sectors, and global oil prices, including the price at the pump back home, are directly tied to the stability of this region. But the single most transformative moment in the Red Sea's economic history happened in 1869. The opening of the Suez Canal. This engineering marvel connected the Red Sea directly to the Mediterranean Sea, creating an unbroken maritime route between Europe and Asia. Before the Suez Canal, ships traveling from Europe to Asia had to sail all the way around the entire African continent, adding weeks, sometimes months, to a journey. The canal eliminated that detour entirely. Today, it remains one of the busiest and most strategically important shipping lanes on Earth, and any disruption to it sends ripple effects through global supply chains within days, something American consumers felt firsthand during recent shipping crises. And then there's the historical and religious significance. According to the book of Exodus, the second book of the Bible, Moses and the Israelites, fleeing pursuit from the Pharaoh's army, crossed a body of water referred to in Hebrew as Yam Suf. This term has traditionally been translated into English as the Red Sea. This story has fascinated archaeologists and historians for centuries. Many believe this account points directly to the very waters we've been discussing throughout this video, meaning that, according to this tradition, the Red Sea isn't just a geographical or economic feature, it's a location tied to one of the most significant religious narratives in human history, one that millions of Americans grow up hearing about in church every year.
So let's bring it all together. The Red Sea isn't just water between two continents. It's a sea that gets its name from microscopic bacteria and ancient volcanoes, a sea so salty it changes how objects float, a sea hiding 120 species found nowhere else on Earth, alongside the fastest fish in the ocean, a graveyard for ships, a birthplace for islands, a source of healing sand, and, according to one of history's oldest texts, the very waters parted by Moses thousands of years ago. From ancient trade routes to modern oil tankers, from biblical history to scuba diving adventures, the Red Sea remains one of the most layered, complex, and genuinely fascinating bodies of water on our entire planet. If this video opened your eyes to something new, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know in the comments, which fact surprised you the most? Was it the sailfish, the healing sand, or the biblical connection? This has been Relentium Mind. I'll see you in the next one.